What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Even Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, I host, co-host, and co-produce the only online show in the world for fathers and dads that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live August 28th. Yes, August is almost done, family. It's almost done. And let me tell you something. It's been a great day. I was out sharing at a men's event this afternoon, so I am so fired up. And I'm fired up because we have another new friend for you here today on Black Canada Talking. But let me tell you what Black Canada Talking is all about. It's a live online event that provides Canadians the opportunity to give their takes and POVs on stories that are of importance to them. And we also highlight wonderful Black Canes that you don't know about. And here's a new friend that you need to know about, Nakimbe B'aobab. She holds an MBA from Northeastern University and is the CEO and founder of Mappdom International Marketing and Mobile Apps. Through her company, she provides marketing mentorship to businesses and entrepreneurs, encouraging them to leverage the power of digital marketing to boost annual revenues, improve customer retention, and beat their competition. With over 2 decades of award-winning experience, psychology, sales, and marketing, she is also a motivational speaker, self-improvement coach, sales trainer, author, and publisher. She's a president of the Afro Caribbean Business Network and has been a volunteer guest speaker, mentor, and advisor with the Entrepreneurship Connections Pre-Arrival program in Canada for over 3 years, contributing Entrepreneur Connections program as a facilitator, mentor, and speed mentoring, and guest panelist, subject matter expert in marketing, and champion BIPOC and women entrepreneurs. So let us welcome for the first time, and there's an old song called Finally It's Happened to Me. Finally, she's rocking the background. Well, let's get her rocking the foreground. What is up?
It's always a party with you, Dr. Vibe. It's always a party. You guys always keep dancing in the background.
How are you?
I'm excellent, sweetheart. How are you? Thank you for having me on the show.
I've been wanting for a long time. I tell people I am blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, a solution for someone's problem, and Blackalicious.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. You got to throw that in there at the end.
How's your weekend been?
Really nice. Really, really wonderful. Yeah, got to spend some great time with the family.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. That is good to hear. So I know you a little bit, but most people on the Black Canada Talking side don't know you all except for the bio I just read. Can you share some of your journey with us before we get into Mappdom and digital marketing and all that stuff?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, let's just start kind of how with you and I met. How about we start there, right? Because like when people ask me, well, who are you? There's so much to say. The first thing I am is a wife and a mother and a grandmother. So that's first who I am. And then I'm also, like you said, the CEO and founder of Mappdom International, digital marketing and mobile apps. And I'm really passionate about, helping small businesses and people accomplish freedom. And for me, that is through, marketing education, stuff like that. So, I like to travel. I like to relax and have a good time. Leaving a legacy for my family is super important to me. Health, and just making good connections and really just about helping people.
Okay, I'm going to ask a myriad of, there's a number of conversation pieces there already. When did it become important to you to leave a good family legacy?
Oh, geez. Wow. Oh, you always know how to get me started. This is the mark of a good interviewer, boy. Yeah.
Well, I like to do conversations, not interviews. But if you want to call it an interview, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, conversations, yes. I would say that the whole thing kind of started, well, one of the things that Mappdom does, I find that when any small business is trying to market themselves, they don't know how to differentiate themselves. They don't know how to stand out or apart from their competition. And Mappdom has this thing called a core analysis, CORE. And what we ask entrepreneurs is, we want to know about the DNA of your business. So what was the creative moment or the catalytic moment that sort of spurred you to start the business? And then what was your original thought, right? And then you must have had a reaction and then you executed it, because along the way, people drop off, right? People will have a catalytic moment and then, it passes them by. Other people, they think about it and then they don't do anything about the thought. I have a really great idea. Other people are like, I have a great idea. There's like a physical or visceral reaction that motivates them to execute. So that's what Mappdom calls core. So for me, when you go back to my history and why entrepreneurialism and legacy is important for me, I remember being like 12 years old and my dad coming home from work, often just frustrated and complaining about his work and, calculating all the bills. And I just remember thinking, as a 12-year-old, working is horrible. Jobs are horrible. My daddy is miserable. I'm like, I want freedom. So that was like the catalytic moment for me. That was like a very creative time, right? And my original thought was, work is bad. You need freedom. Don't have a boss, right? And then I had a reaction, and then later on that transpired into entrepreneurialism, right? And so even Mappdom, the fist, it's all about empowerment. It's about freedom and empowering people to, quit their 9 to 5, give their good products to the rest of the world and make money, and also have an opportunity to leave a legacy for their kids. So when I saw my dad struggle like that, and, I talk about this in my TED Talk, it's like, around the same age, my dad told me, look, you got to know 2 things about yourself. 1, you're Black. 2, you're a woman. That's 2 strikes against you. You have no choice but to get your education. I had no idea what he was talking about. I'm 12 years old playing in the playground, right? But I remember he's like, you're Black, you're female, you have no choice but to get your education. And education was very, very important to him. And he knew that was the gateway to freedom. So, I went on and I got my master's, which allowed me to work in, some of the highest levels of corporate. And now I get to get that information and give it back to, Main Street entrepreneurs and, leave a legacy for my children. So they don't have to put up with the man, you know what I mean? So that's where the whole legacy comes from for me.
Good. What was your first, and you can define this, your first big corporate job?
Well, right out of university, actually, I went right into working for the government of Ontario. They had a special internship program that you had to compete for, and it was lovely. And I'm going to just give a little plug here. Mappdom has a program called the MILD program, the Mappdom International Leadership and Development Program, MILD. And it is mirrored after that program at the government of Ontario, because they did forecasting and they realized within a certain amount of time, all of these baby boomers were going to retire, and there would be this huge gap that they would need to fill from a human resources perspective. So what they did is they took us for 2 years and they rotated us in different areas of the government. Now, most of the time when you get a job in marketing, you get a job in, whatever different area, right? But with this one, I spent 6 months in HR, and then I spent 6 months in policy, and then I spent 6 months in somewhere else. So I mean, the exposure, right, and the level of business that I'm getting exposed to right out of university. My first job was the government of Ontario. And then I worked with like Cambridge Global Payments, Bank of Montreal, BMO Harris Bank, Reliance Home Comfort, so energy, education. I worked for Embanet, Compass, Pearson Education Group. So yeah, it spans a broad spectrum.
Sure. When did you realize that entrepreneurship would be your thing? Like leaving the corporate world?
Again, when I got into government, you have to ask, because I had gone. So here's an interesting thing. You know, you and I have had a couple conversations, and I know that you like really heartfelt, real conversations. So I had my children when I was very young, both of them while I was in university. I went, you know, I was walking on campus at the University of Toronto, downtown St. George campus with like this big belly. And I didn't care because like the worst thing that I knew I could do was to become another stereotype, to be another, you know, young Black single mother with, you know, no education. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm pregnant, but my brain didn't fall out of my head. So I literally still went to school and took my, you know, my pregnant self to school twice. Like I got knocked up by, well, you know, the famous Toronto photographer, Lawrence Kerr. But yeah, twice we were married, but at 21 and 23. And so I didn't go to school full time like a lot of people did. I had to go part time, sometimes in the day, sometimes in the evening when Lawrence would come home. But I had gotten used to a certain amount of freedom, even though I had children, right? So when I got to work life, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got to wake up at the same time every day and then go on this crowded, commuted train with all these miserable faces. You're packed in the train like a sardine. You get to work, people are miserable. You don't enjoy your job. You're finished doing everything you have to do by 2 o'clock, but for some reason you have to pretend like you're doing work till 5 o'clock. And I thought, no. I was 25 at the time. I'm like, what? Retirement is at 65? I got to do this for 40 more years. I'm like, no, not me. I'm like, I got to find a way out. And so it has been like a never ending, relentless journey since then, you know, and I think I've finally gotten somewhere with that.
That's fantastic. And why the area of marketing? What spurred your mind to go down into the world of marketing?
Oh, I'm so enjoying these questions. It's the same continuous story from getting that first job at the government of Ontario. So I was working there, and like I said, I realized I didn't want to work for myself for the rest of my life. I didn't want to work for other people for the rest of my life. There must be a way out. Mm-hmm. And then a friend came along and they said, hey, you know, would you help me do a presentation? I'm training to get my financial license, right? So this is a friend of Lawrence and I. And so the gentleman came over and ended up teaching us about finances, and it was Primerica Financial Services. And I was like, oh my gosh, this presentation was amazing. There was so much about money I didn't know. And they're like, hey, it's funny you say that. We're actually looking for people to join our company and market our services product. And I thought, yes, this is my chance to get out of corporate. So I left corporate because at the time you had to do insurance sales full time. And I was very good at closing. If I got in front of a family and I sat down and I explained to them, I had an 80% closing ratio. So my challenge was having enough people in my pipeline. Thank you. My challenge was getting enough people in my pipeline to sit down in front of and see. And right. So I thought, I need to start marketing myself. I need to start marketing what I do and like how it helps people, right? Because the company wasn't giving me leads. I had to basically get my own leads. And so I started sort of teaching myself marketing and getting so good that other little local businesses in Toronto would ask me to do marketing for them. And then I got a job in the marketing field based on my success on my own marketing and marketing for local businesses, right? Even though I hadn't studied it in school at the time, they're like, yeah, you're good at this. Sure, you can work in our marketing department. Did really well, worked my way up the ranks. And then there was an opportunity to get my my master's degree, my MBA, Master in Business Administration. And I thought, yeah, I'll take you up on that offer. And I did that and specialized in marketing, innovation, and entrepreneurship, right? So, yeah, and then what happened after that was, because I was also trying to teach myself marketing, I was teaching myself direct response marketing, which is very different than brand marketing or marketing for a bank or a university. And I wanted to tell these, you know, very sort of uptight institutions, hey guys, man, this is boring marketing. You have to be disruptive. You have to, you know, and they're like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. I'm like, you guys are boring. You guys are leaving so much money on the table. So I was frustrated with that. My hands were tied. And so then I had this really unique blend of like education, exposure, experience, and expertise, like because I work with some of the top direct response marketers on the planet, right? So it's a very unique blend, and that's kind of how I got into marketing.
Wow. Man, you need a book. You need to write an autobiography.
And I know it's on the list. It's on the list.
Okay. So when you entered the marketing world, Black woman,
Yeah.
how many of there was you?
Woo! Well, you know what? So when you were reading my bio, one of the things you mentioned is that I'm a facilitator and teacher for Access Entrepreneurship Connections. And in that program, wait, don't let me lose my train of thought. So in that program, we focus a lot on the BIPOC community.
Yep.
And in that, when I'm teaching those guys that class, I tell them that before they even start marketing, there are these 10 commandments in marketing. I've done a webinar on it with the ACBN called the 10 Commandments of Marketing, because sometimes people are lost or confused and they don't know where to start. So I'm like, if you follow these 10 commandments, you'll be fine. The first one is know thyself and to thyself be true. So really know your business. Don't be confused. You're not in this business and that business. Like, what's your real USP or real unique selling proposition, right? But the next thing I tell them is, so know thyself and to thyself be true. Know thy competitors' ways and you'll never be blue. That's Mappdom marketing commandment number 2. So I told them before, again, having all this education and professional experience, I wasn't just going to go out there and say, hey, I'm Mappdom, I'm a marketing company. I had to do my competitive research. And at the time, there were probably 4 Black marketing companies in Toronto. Lee DeWitt had one, and Nadine Spencer with Brand EQ, and I can't remember who else there was, but I did my research. And so I said, okay, so the only other Black woman doing marketing in Toronto is Nadine Spencer, and she's the president of the BPPA, the Black Business Professional Association. I'm the president of the ACBN, the Afro Caribbean Business Network. And I thought, okay, well, how does she look? How does she present herself? What does her website look like? Who is she marketing to? Because I didn't want to obviously compete directly with her, right? And so when I looked at Nadine's imagery on her website, she's very well poised, and she's sitting like this, and she's got her pearls, and she talks about her corporate public relations and television. And I thought, well, I got to do the opposite of that, right? So here I am with my blonde hair, loud and brash, not at all with the pearls, say what I want, very different approach. And that way it allows consumers a choice and it gives them some diversity. So I'm not competing with Nadine. I offer something different. But I wouldn't have known to do that. I wouldn't have known how to position myself in the market had I not done my competitive research first. And most people, they don't do that. They just go out into the market guns a-blazing, So no, I didn't do that. So to answer your question, yeah, the only other Black female at the time in marketing doing it at the level that I was doing at was Nadine Spencer of Brand EQ.
Okay.
See, and I can be so bold as to I'm not even afraid of the competition. I'm just saying my competitor's name because I ain't worried about it. Right?
Not at all. You do you. That's the key thing. So when you got started, were you getting any pushback you felt because you were a Black woman in this space?
Wow. Oh, this is a interesting and emotional question because unfortunately, I felt a lot of the pushback that I was getting was actually coming from my own community. You know what I mean? It's like I could a lot of my friends are entrepreneurs. I could see what they were doing on social media. I could see what they were doing with their website. And I'm like, man, guys, I love you guys, but this is so wrong. This is so ineffective, again, because I was coming from the highest level of corporate experience, as well as the educational background, right? And so I remember, I'm like, I got to come down from corporate. And at the time, a lot of companies were focusing on mobile apps. That's, Mappdom mobile apps comes from, because social media was becoming crowded and a lot of corporations were starting to realize that. Corporations were starting to realize that they needed to niche down and really engage, because of course corporations have millions and billions of dollars to spend on the research to find that out and then implement that in their business. Small businesses usually 5, 7, 10 years late to the game sometimes. So I thought I would come down from the mountain on high and say, hey, small businesses, stop focusing on social media. It's dying. You guys need mobile apps instead. And, they're like, what do I need a mobile app for? And then, it's like, oh my gosh, that's $2,500. Just going to post to my 200 friends that aren't my target market on Facebook. And it was just like killing me. It was like daggers in my heart. And so I found that, and, in our community, we also don't have the same, economic portfolio or opportunities as maybe other cultures do. And so trying to get my same level of corporate pay from our community was challenging and frustrating. And I also was like, hey guys, I have all like 20 some odd years experience. I have my master's, like I worked in the top level of corporate. I'm here to help you. You know what I mean? I'm giving you $100,000 marketing campaign for $300 a month, which is ridiculous. Right? But I'm doing it to help you. I was also doing it to sort of showcase what I could do for small businesses. And they're like, yeah, nah, I think we'll pass. The communities that I had already helped make millions, they're like, oh my gosh, you have your master's from where and you've done what? And like, yeah, here's like $125,000, right? So I felt like I had to leave my community to be successful. And then some, peers and mentors in our community said, yeah, sometimes it's like that. You gotta first make it and then give back. Don't try to start there. But I was just like, no, I'm helping my people no matter what you say. And I did get hurt along the way. I got hurt and I got heartbroken, but now, I've created a system where everybody wins. And that's why I also like being the president of the ACBN, because I still get to help my community, but in an emotionally hands-off way, get all the benefits, all the strategy, everything that they need to succeed.
Does it still bother you when you don't get, or do you still face times where you don't get accepted by melanated people? And does it bother you?
It doesn't bother me anymore. I think that because my profile has sort of been elevated, the clientele I'm attracting is also different, so that certainly helps. But one of my mentors, Dr. George Fraser, here in the U.S., I was working with him at the time, and I had loved our communication about, Black issues, and we could get riled up about stuff. And, I would cry to him about some of the experience I had in, white corporate Canada or white corporate America. And I'd be like, I don't know. It's just like, I want to help our community, but it just, doesn't seem to be working out. And he's like, Kimbe, you have to realize this is not personal. He's like, we literally make 5 cents to the dollar. And that's hurtful to hear, right? He goes, but let's say we just want to even be generous. We make 25 cents on the dollar, right? And then compared to other communities. And then, again, with the MILES program, the Mappdom International Leadership and Development Program, the third year university students that we have working on programs, I had them do a study. And they found that most Black businesses start with an average of about $3,000 in capital, whereas the average, Caucasian counterpart starts with $100,000 in capital because they're able to get loans from the bank. They have friends and family with money. They just, I would watch Shark Tank and they'd be like, the judges would say, so how'd you get the money? Well, I raised $120,000 from my friends and family. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that, right? So I had to, and that, I don't know if we're going to get time to talk about the soul system, but I basically, because I wanted to help my community and because there are people like me that don't have a $25,000 or $30,000 monthly budget to put towards Google ads or Facebook ads, and I wanted to create a legacy for my children, I took all of this, vast decades of knowledge, experience, expertise, exposure, direct response marketing, everything, and put it into a program that was never really meant to be public. It was just a roadmap for my children, just like my father said, you know, you're Black, you're a woman, you have to get your education. I wanted to leave something for my children. I'm like, hey, kids, if you ever get sick of your job, if you ever just want to say like, F you to the man, you know, why you don't have to depend on anybody for your income. Here is a roadmap. Here is the step-by-step. You can sell any product, any service online. Mommy will teach you how to do it. And I will give you every single secret from every pocket I've ever been in. You know, just do this first, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you move on to the next thing, and then you build, and then you do this, and then you do this. And I had to make it very simple. So this whole thing came into something called the SOUL system, a strategic way to get hot organic leads on demand. And organic leads means you're not paying for leads, right? Like how do I get people interested in my business without paying any money, right? And my children obviously didn't have any marketing background, and they had, well, not obviously, but I'm telling you, they had no marketing background and they had no business background. But yet I was able to give them like, you know, a $10 million marketing formula. And
wow.
Yeah, now it's going to be available to the public soon.
Wow, 10,000. Huh. Very nice. Very, very nice. So let me ask, the entrepreneurs, when you got into marketing, Black entrepreneurs, are the challenges they face today the same as when you started?
Are the marketing challenges that Black entrepreneurs the same today as, I would say, I'm not quite sure how to answer that question, but this is what I will say. I will say that when I would go to these marketing conferences, right, it would normally be 95%, you know, white males.
Yes.
And I remember thinking that there was like, I'm like, what's the barrier here? What's stopping Black people from being successful? I'm like, they don't have access to, not the knowledge, because the knowledge is out there, the webinars are out there, the YouTube videos are out there, but they don't even have the capital sometimes to purchase the software. They don't have the capital to get into the mastermind. Like I'm in a $15,000 mastermind. I'm just in a fortunate position. I can go to conferences that cost $5,000, but it took me 20 something years to get to that point, right? I had to have the education, the expertise, all that stuff but most people, I know that most Black entrepreneurs don't have my level of experience, exposure, expertise, and experience, right? So, yes, they do face the same barriers, because it's like, wow, if you could just afford this mastermind and this conference, you would understand how the algorithms work, because they're not going to put that stuff. Like one of the challenges that breaks my heart, again, working with all these entrepreneurs, you know, there's no business school to go to. It's like it's the wild, wild west. You have to figure out how to do marketing on your own. And there's no structure or leadership, right? And so, you know, they don't even know where to start. Like I said, they can't even afford the software. So it's like, yeah, I read on this free YouTube thing or this free blog that I should do videos. Great. But if you're not doing videos using best practices or what the algorithm's like, you're wasting your time. You're frustrated, you're heartbroken. Oh, well, this method didn't work. I guess I should try podcasting, right? Like where you can get a lot of free information online, yes, but the good information, the secret information, you have to pay a coach for, you have to pay a consultant for. And because we don't always have access to those funds, we try to bootstrap it or shoestring it together and guess and wing it. And that is not a strategic, structured way to implement a marketing campaign or a business. And that is coming from an academic and corporate perspective, right? And so, yeah, we are until we, and again, that's why the SOUL system was created. And it's not necessarily a plug, but sure, it can be a plug. But again, it was really for my kids. But there needs to be some structure. There needs to be some guidance. There needs to be some professional stuff. They're not you just looking at different random YouTube videos while you have time trying to manage your life and your business at the same time. That is not how corporations do it. And that's why they're successful, right? And so I'm trying to, when I was in Primerica, what they used to say is they're trying to bring Wall Street to Main Street, because you have your own personal sort of financial consultant or concierge. So I'm sort of trying to do the same thing in Mappdom. I'm trying to bring like corporate marketing to mainstream entrepreneurs. Because it's not difficult, it's not hard. There's just a barrier there's a barrier to accessing information. And that usually starts with capital, right? So
okay,
I'm hoping to change that. That's part of my revolution.
You're going to change that.
I am changing it. That's right. I forgot my language.
Yes, you are changing it. You are changing it. How in through your lens, how has digital marketing changed, if any, since the pandemic?
Ooh, wow, great question. Thanks. Well, I think I'm not sure if digital marketing has changed, but what has definitely changed is people's awareness of the importance and efficacy and difficulty of digital marketing, right? Because again, when I started off, trying to cut my teeth in Primerica business years ago, like, well, how am I going to market my financial services? So I would do things like on Craigslist or on back pages. I used to print business cards and leave them in people's windows, flyers, and brochures, and all of these things that really weren't effective until one day I answered an ad. And that's part of the reason I'm passionate about having effective ads, because it's not just about sellers trying to shove their product down your throat. People really have solutions, and there are people that really have problems, but there's a missing link that I hope to fill the gap and be that link. Anyway, so I had seen an ad, and it said something about, oh, here it was. It's like, only suckers pay for leads or something like that. And I clicked on the ad, and that sent me sort of down a rabbit hole into direct response marketing and internet marketing, which was basically saying, hey, you can go knock door to door and do all this stuff, or you can be online where people are searching for you. Hundreds and thousands of people are looking for your services. You're asking friends and family to sign up for your product. Right? I was like, oh, digital marketing. And so then I started learning about, Google ads and white papers and landing pages and email autoresponders. And like I said, fell in love with it, got good at it. A quick side note, because Mappdom has this hybrid of all these businesses I've talked about today, but when Primerica Financial Services didn't work out well for me, I switched to health, and I was working with Isogenics. And I knew I couldn't just sell health cleanse. Again, having that sort of corporate background, I knew I couldn't just say I was selling a cleansing product. And for most of you, any of you guys out there in any business or health and wellness, you can't just say you sell this health product because you have so much competition, right? And I knew that education was key. So I called myself Victoria the Cleanse Coach, right? And you could go to my blog and you could read all about fake cleanses. And I wasn't pushing my product, but people would sign up to get this free report on how to not buy a fake cleanse. And I had reports from coroners saying there's no such thing as mucoid plaque. I'm like, dollar scam. These cleanses don't do anything. Victoria Cleanse Coach. And I was getting people into my sales funnel and getting my autoresponder and, getting good conversions, but not a heck of a lot of money. And I would reach out to some of these people and be like, hey, you guys haven't ordered in a while. What's going on? They're like, oh yeah, we ordered all the time. I was like, what's happening? But the thing is, because I was selling Isogenics, people would just buy it from any Isogenics link. And I wasn't necessarily getting the credit. I was like, no, never again. The next time I market and promote a business, I'm getting all the credit, right? And so that's, so now I do that for Mappdom, but that's how it started. That's how it started. Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you give us a little bit more background on how Mappdom started?
Yes, actually I can. So, all right. So again, my goal was always to leave corporate, and I just wanted residual income, right? This was probably back in 2008, 2012, 2010, somewhere back there. But I remember all I needed was $3,000 a month. Wouldn't that be nice today? All I needed was $3,000 a month, and I'd be okay. That would replace my income, and I could pay my rent and live. And so, again, another wonderful ad I saw online. I just got to give a quick shout out to Damien Zamora if he ever sees this recording. But I saw another great ad that changed my life, and it said, websites are dying. And I'm like, what? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm trying to build my website. What are you talking about? Websites are dying. Click, right? And then the ad was like, yeah, websites are dying. Trying to get traffic online is really difficult. The way to go is mobile apps. And I'm like, yes, that's what I've been saying, right? And so I'm like, how I wasn't so much into marketing because I thought, mobile apps was the way to go. So when I was researching, when I was trying to think of what I wanted my company name to be, it was all about mobile apps. And so the M in Mappdom, so if anybody knows my logo, it's Mappdom, Mappdom. The M is in blue, and the app, APP, is in orange, and then DOM is in blue. So the M stands for mobile, and then the app stands for application, and the DOM is for domination, because my company was going to be about mobile application domination. So that's where Mappdom came from. And then, like I said, I came out from corporate, from this big mountain on high saying, hey guys, social media is dying. You got to do mobile apps. And they're like, mobile apps? Nobody who cares about mobile apps. We want social media marketing. Can you help us? Can you help us with our social media? I'm like, yeah, sure. I guess if that's what you want. And they're like, hey, can you help us with our blog? And sure.
It just grew.
Yeah. And then, again, having dealt with, the Power Networking Conference with Dr. Fraser, 15,000 entrepreneurs, Access Entrepreneurship and Connections, 22,000 entrepreneurs. I get a lot of exposure to what the pain points are of entrepreneurs and what they're doing wrong. And that differentiates me from most other marketing agencies out there. They're just doing marketing for you. They're not necessarily coming up with a strategy or their campaigns, but yeah, we really get in there with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was the first year of Mappdom like?
Woo. So I remember the date because it's like it is actually an anniversary date for me. So I think I left corporate. I was working with Dr. George Fraser probably in 2016, 2017.
Now just interrupt. Many people may not know who that is. I've known who that man is because I saw him the first time he came to Toronto. So I think it's very important that you give a little background who Dr. George Fraser is, how important a person he is.
You know what? You're going to have to help me out on that because I just don't even know if I can do it justice. So first of all, he dubs himself as America's #1 Black networker. And
yes.
he has been connecting Black entrepreneurs for over 30 years and really bringing exposure and light to the strength and diversity and economic potential, right? He talks about investments and cooperation and, to work under, like the leadership I got, the mentorship opportunity I had with him, for like a year and a half, people would have spent hundreds and thousands of dollars to get that. But I mean, like I said, I don't think that really just does him justice. He is known as the connector.
Yes.
He was named in Forbes as having, one of the #1 power networking conferences, one of the most powerful conferences out there, right? In Forbes, that was a few years ago. It's wonderful. I go, I've been to a lot of different conferences. I haven't been to Afro Tech or any of those, but I remember when I first went to the Power Networking Conference, it was like a combination of, Black church and entrepreneurialism and economic empowerment. And it was like nothing I'd ever experienced. Right. But like I said, that's where I had my heartbreak. And I'm like, and he was like, no, we have to build systems. And I'll tell you quickly, he told me a lot of things, but one of the things he told me, I'm like, why can't we do what other people do? And he said, because because of the divisiveness and, everything that's been done to us, right? He's like, we can't even get together on little things. And in order to be successful as other races and cultures have done and been, you need to be able to build systems. You need to be able to build systems and structures. And it's like if we can't even get along one-on-one in our homes, in our communities, in our
family,
country.
just our family units.
Yeah. And of course, well, that's a whole other conversation for a whole other day, as the systematic decimation of the Black Family Unit and why, right?
No, I'll just say also, people, George Fraser wrote a book many years ago that I still read today. Success Runs in Our Race, written a long time ago, but is still a book that I consider one of the Bibles. If you're a melanated person and you want to expand your mind, read that book.
Still completely relevant today. Absolutely.
Read
and
that
he's still kicking it at 70-something. That man.
I know. Whenever he is online, I just shut up and listen.
Yeah. Great opportunity to work with him.
I hope I'm blessed to meet him at least one more time in my journey, because I would love to just spend an hour with him and say, Dr. Fraser, whatever you want to talk about, you just talk. I'm just here to listen. I just want to hear you and feel you.
Absolutely. He is wonderful. He is very heartfelt, and he always talks about being high touch, not just high tech, but high touch, and just, your net worth, your net worth is your network. Your network is your net worth. All these great, amazing, wonderful things,
Yeah. Like
you can, when I just drop some nuggets, I just want to share with the crowd. Another thing, he's like, you may be the CEO of your life, but you better damn well have a good board of directors. And he's like, you don't necessarily make big decisions unilaterally. You have your core team that you run things by, and I mean, just gems upon gems upon gems upon gems.
Well, I saw him online the other day, and he was dropping some other things, saying he's a prolific reader.
Yeah.
And he said something that the average American reads one book a year. Yeah. And he said, he challenged everyone that was watching and said, if you read a book a month, in 5 years, you will have read 60 books.
Yeah.
And you know what? One of the things I love more as he gets along, he's a joker too. He's funny.
He is.
Yeah. You think he's so, but he is so, because the gentleman that was interviewing said, you've been married. He's been married almost 50 years to the same sister, as he says. I've been married to yes. Always. And he asked him, Dr. Fraser, what's the secret being married so long? He said, one word, amnesia. He said, and it was funny at the moment, but what he said was very smart. He said that there are things that I've done, that she's done. We talk about it, we discuss it, and we forget about it, and we move forward.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant. Like that talk, and if anyone wants a link to that talk, I watched it at least once a week. It was 55 minutes. It stretched me to another level of not only being a Black man, a Black person, a Black entrepreneur, just a Black human being. It was like I listened to it at least once a week. It's like that, and it's like church. It's like Dr. Boyce is preaching from the pulpit.
Yeah.
And I'll share one other thing that we'll get back, because as you can tell, we're just so blown away. But he said, the more people you serve, the better an entrepreneur you're going to be.
Oh, and I never heard that. I know he's about service and love. Yeah.
Huge. And he gave a perfect example. He said, look at Beyonce. When she does a concert, she's serving hundreds and thousands of people. She's making money off of each one of the people she's serving.
Yes.
Like that 55 minutes, what I just like went, wow. Like I just went, like that's like every week I listen to it, and just it keeps me going, it stretches me, it keeps me focused. So let's get back to Mappdom. So we've done the George Fraser minute here. So we'll have to do a part 2, because there's so many other things I'd love to share. And I wanna praise you too. I've digitally introduced you to a number, especially Black women entrepreneurs, and they love you and they want to meet you.
Oh, Oh, okay. Yes,
They,
I've had the people that you've put me in touch with already have been just high class, high caliber people. Such a joy for me to work with.
yeah, and you said it with Mr. Fraser, but also you're heart-centered.
Oh, thank you.
Where do you get your heart-centeredness from?
I'm going to have to say it's my family. That's what I've never really been asked that question before, but as soon as you asked it, that's what sort of jumped out of my body was my family. My father is a very, very, very loving, affectionate guy. You know, he has 6 brothers and sisters, and, you know, we have so many cousins. Like, we used to all, you know, sleep at my grandma's house. We have sleeping bags, you know, sometimes you're under the table, stepping over people, and it's just so much fun. And people on the stairs, just to get upstairs to the bathroom, you got it, because, you know, the cousins are hanging out. So you know, it's just so much love. I've just always been used to love. And I think that at any time in my life when I felt that I wasn't loved, or I didn't have love, you know, and that's, you know, part of what the TED Talk was about, it's I realized that I am love, and I can give love. And then, you know, I was brought up Roman Catholic, and then there's the whole concept of, you know, God's love. And then I had the opportunity. We didn't have a dog growing up, but I got a dog for my kids, and I was amazed that no matter what happened with this dog the day before, he was just back there the next day. Like, I love you. I'm like, don't you remember that I yelled at you to get out of the way yesterday? It doesn't matter. I love you. And they always say that, you know, dogs are man's best friend, and they're the most loyal. And I remember thinking, and then lastly, I'll tell you, there was a course I took, the Landmark Forum. I took all 3 levels, and one of them, the middle one, the advanced one. The first one is about clearing up any misconceptions you have about yourself. And then in the second one, you have a blank canvas, and you get to create who you want to be. And in that program, I decided I was going to be love. I was going to be as God-like as possible and dog-like as possible, you know, and that has helped me in my relationships. You know, like, you don't hold on to little grudges and stuff like that. Just so it wouldn't matter how someone was being to me. I held true who I wanted to be. I wanted to be as God-like as possible. I wanted to be love, and I wanted to be loyal. So even in my business, which doesn't work in corporate with HR, you can't. And, you know, people down south and in the US, they can call you honey, sweetie around business, and it's not, you know, it's not a huge deal, you know. But I'll tell people, yeah, you know, love Mappdom or love Nakimbe, and sometimes I'm like, that's unprofessional. That's not corporate. I'm like, well, you run your own business, right? I don't work for corporate. I will get you all of the amazing corporate results, but I'm still going to give you love. So if you're offended that I write, you know, love Mappdom or love Nakimbe at the end of my email, then you can do business with somebody else. But I am committed to being love. I don't know if enough people get it or experience it. So if I can give it to somebody in some kind of way, or just remind them of the word love. You follow me on social media because I've seen you like some stuff, right? So, you know, my little posts there, it's signed Love Nakimbe. That's deliberate. I want to give love, be associated with love, say the word love, put the word love out there, because there's so much hate and negativity on the news. I want to counteract that in every way.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Like I said, love it. Love Nakimbe, actually. We love Nakimbe. So let me ask you, what is one of the craziest things you've seen during your digital advertising journey? Any
in
crazy,
my story?
During the journey of doing the digital marketing that you've done, are there any crazy stories you'd be comfortable sharing with us?
Well, you know what? This is going to blow some people's minds. I don't have any crazy stories in terms of, you know, people doing any like weird marketing campaigns or going about their marketing. I don't have any weird stories like that. But dropping $32 million, like making $32 million revenue with a product launch, you know, making $15 million with a product launch.
No. Rewind. How much?
32. I used to boast about a guy named, I was talking about the internet marketing world. I used to talk about this guy, Rich Shepard. He made $8 million. This was back in 2008. He made $8 million in like a very short period of time with one product launch. right? And that used to be big back in the day. And then another guy named Anik Sangal, he did a product launch, $15 million. And this mastermind that I'm in, people are doing product launches making $32 million. So here I am seeing people in our community suffer. So when you ask me, like, what's the most shocking thing or the most surprising thing? It's nothing that people have done wrong. It's the astronomical amazingness of what's possible when you do it right, that we are missing out on and missing, leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table and suffering unnecessarily and going back to work, and you can't find a babysitter simply because we don't know. Our community doesn't know or have access to these simple. Some of them is just knowing what the algorithms. There's one guy who literally grew his following on Instagram by 65,000 people in 3 months simply by making videos that the algorithms liked. How stupid is that? That costs no money, but our community doesn't necessarily have access to that information, or always wants the information for free, and that's not how it works in the real world. But it will and can work like that in my world with the soul system, because I'm giving people access to that world. I'm showing people how to strategically get organic leads on demand. And then once you're getting leads, once you're turning those leads into customers, once you're making cash, once you get into a profit position, then you can strategically invest into paid ads and grow and scale the way corporations do. Right? I mean,
okay, you've mentioned it a few times today. Give us a little overview of the soul system and your course.
Yeah, okay. So the soul system is a step-by-step, structured, simple way for people to get a steady stream of organic leads on demand. Right? People don't realize a lot of these entrepreneurs I work with, like, oh, I don't know how to find customers. I don't know, what content to get. And I'm like, well, you have to create content that draws people to you, right? And so most people don't know what content to create, how to do it. There's no structure. They don't know what will be effective. So this system, like I said, is set up. It says, this is the first thing you do. I'll just tell you, the first thing you should do is to do video, right? Like, I had a client the other day. It was so funny. I'm going to be posting this on social media like in the next 2 days or so when I have time. But it was so funny. Yesterday, Saturday morning, 2 calls, right? One was with a client. One was with my daughter. My daughter's asking me for money. Hey, Mom, can I have some money? I'm like, Jazz, that's why I created this program for you. Go out and sell it, right? Like, stop asking me for money. Go and sell the program. You will make commissions, right? And she's like, well, Mom, how do I sell it? I'm like, girl, just follow the course. The first thing you should do is just make videos. Just make videos about the course. Talk about the course. Put them on. She's like, oh, yeah, that's so easy. I can do that. I can put stuff on TikTok. I can put stuff on YouTube. Okay, good. Right? Even if it's like, hey, I got this no program, and just make videos, right? And so then flip that to speaking to a client later on, and they, paid a substantial amount of money, and they wanted me to do like their social media strategy, and I did that. And then at the end of the conversation, the lady's like, okay, so now we've got our Instagram, right? And if we get brand ambassadors and influencers, realistically, how long do you think it'll be before we start making any money? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, you could make money in 2 minutes and 2 hours and 2 weeks and 2 months, but it could really, before you start getting momentum, it could be 3 to 6 months. Just because you have a brand ambassador or an influencer pushing your health and beauty product, they may not be posting the way that the algorithms like. So even though they have 10 million followers, those followers may not really see their stuff. And just because an ambassador or an influencer post your health and beauty product doesn't mean everyone's going to buy it. If anything, the first thing they might do is follow you, right? Whereas if you make content on a blog about psoriasis or eczema or a problem that somebody's having and they're desperate to solve it, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm itching every night. I hate this. I can't get any dates. Oh my gosh, this is so uncomfortable. What can I do? They go online at 2 o'clock or 2 a.m. and they're like, how do I get rid of psoriasis? And your blog comes up and says, how do I get rid of psoriasis? Or better yet, you have a video, because video is everything. And all the algorithms like video, websites like video, So I was laughing because I was like, well, the question shouldn't be, how long do you think until we start making money? The question should have been, what's the first thing I should do to market my business? Because I would have said, you should make video. It's free, it's quick, it's easy. You can put it in your email, you can put it on your website. Google likes it, the algorithms love it. TikTok is kicking Google's butt right now, and you're posting to social media. Like it's not that it's not effective, but it's not strategic. Again, that's what the soul system is about. It's about being strategic on how you get your leads. So I am going to say, I don't know how much time we have, but we
got time.
Oh, awesome. Okay, because we are looking for beta testers. I don't know how many entrepreneurs are listening, but we have so many modules in this. Yeah.
Beta tester.
Oh, you want to get? Did we get cut off? Am I not? Are we on time?
No.
Well, awesome.
Beta, and if you're looking for we can talk offline. I have a number of people. I actually have a number of Black women entrepreneurs that would be. And just a sidelight here. It's funny. I'm blessed to do a lot of mentorship for Black entrepreneurs. 80% of them are Black women entrepreneurs.
Yes, women entrepreneurs are doing their thing.
Yeah, Black women entrepreneurs especially, and the majority of them I'm doing it with are in the ideation to $25,000 a year revenue.
Okay, nice.
So I know once they see this, they go, Dr. Vibe, how can I speak with her? How can I speak with her? But
yeah, I'll give you the link. We have an application for beta testers.
Yes. So if you could get, we can speak offline. But I want you and your family and the people that you serve to win. So anything I can do to make that happen is really, really important, because what you know and what you share is not only important, but you're doing it with the right intent.
Oh, you are a blessing, Dr. Vibe, to me and to all of us out there. Thank you so much for your contribution to the community over the years.
I received that, but now definitely the soul system. I know you got soul. It just says like from that song back in the day, got soul that you want to.
Can I tell you a secret? I don't know if I should tell you this secret, but I'm going to tell it to you.
Want to talk about it offline, or you want to talk it live?
No, we can kind of talk it live. I just got to sort of get comfortable for it, maybe. Okay. So, oh boy. Okay. So I told you the soul system, SOLD, a strategic way to get a steady stream of organic leads on demand, SOLD, right? And so in the program, I cover, the first thing I would do is do video. Again, the algorithms like it.
Yeah.
It's cheap, quick, easy.
Can I interject just for a second?
Yeah.
I think I've told you about this, but I'm going to give a little thing about people, because since Nakimbe is doing a little share, people do video introductions.
Oh, there you go. It does make you stand out. Differentiation is.
I'm telling you, and especially, and I'll tell you, this is one of Dr. Vibe's. People say, like, how do you do it, Dr. Vibe? Especially during the pandemic, I did video introductions. They do not take that long. Within 45 seconds, you can introduce yourself to somebody. And as Nakimbe said, first of all, you stand out from the crowd because it's a video. Second of all, you can get a lot in 45 seconds.
Oh yeah.
And then third of all, depending on what software you use, you know when they open it. How many people, when you send an email, you can put read receipt on, but people don't like read receipt.
No, they don't.
They're like you're in their business.
Yeah.
Right? And now, if anyone wants any thoughts on that, you can contact me offline. But I'll tell you, 95% of the people, especially corporate, who I do a video introduction, their first line is, "This is wonderful. I absolutely love it." So even before they heard the message, they like how it was presented to them. So video introductions are gold.
I remember this again, it had to have been in 2008, 2008, a very long time ago. I signed up for something, and the gentleman, this back when he had like the Motorola flip phones, that's how long ago it was.
Yep.
But he sent me, he's like, I don't know if my name was Giselle or Nakimbe back then, but anyway, I think it was Giselle because I changed my name in 2015. But I think he was like, hey, Giselle, thanks for signing up. It was really great to meet you. And he was at a restaurant with his kids. And he literally took 7 seconds. Hey, Giselle, how you doing? I just got your thing. I just want to thank you for signing up. And XYZ, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Bam.
We are 2022. I remember that guy. I'm pretty sure his name is Corny. I got to write it down. I know what it is if I see it, but I still remember him. He was the first person to send me a video message. It's like, wow, you took the time to send me a quick video message.
Thank you.
It's 2022, and I still remember it. And I've done it ever since then.
I'm going to give another quick example. The other day, I was in a webinar, and the gentleman leading the webinar is 81 years old. He runs a business where they train and mentor CEOs and entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So I was so impressed with him. I sent him a video introduction.
Yeah.
And I asked him in that video introduction if I could get 11 minutes of his time.
It's a nice number. It stands out like, why? What? I like it.
But so what that has led to is now he has said to me, I can get 30 minutes of his time every month.
Oh, wow.
So not only just for business, but for relationship building.
Beautiful.
And also, and I've got another big ask coming of him. I'm going to see down the line if I can hang out with him for a day and just get his mentorship, just follow him around for a day and live. Yeah, get the CEO life for a day. So Nakimbe says, video, use it to the max, not just for personal things, but corporate wise, it's such a differentiator.
Yeah, we're going to be having a webinar. So I'll leave the link, I'll tell the link and stuff. But like I said, we are looking for beta testers. So we're going to be having an info webinar. And in that webinar, we tell people video is the first thing that you should do. It's the first place that you should start. Almost everything else, it's not a waste of time, but this is really quick.
It's an investment.
And we have statistics. That's what I was going to say. Sorry. In the webinar, we have statistics, if you have a video on your landing page, you increase your conversions by 80%. That's free. So that's why it's called organic leads on demand. You don't have to pay any money for any of these strategies, and they're highly effective. And the thing I want people to know is that even though I worked at the highest levels of corporations don't like to spend money. Okay, so we would have at least a $25,000 budget towards paid ads and Google ads, right? And again, after speaking with tens of thousands of entrepreneurs, I understand that the quality of leads that you get from Google or Facebook, they aren't always good because again, people aren't searching for you, right? They're being social, they see something, they're kind of curious. Kind of curious is not what you want, right? Because you have to pay for that click. And so I've had people tell me they've spent $10,000, $3,000, they've gotten 700 leads and one person converted. So you're telling me that your cost per lead or your cost per acquisition, it costs you $2,900 to get one client. Now, mind you, she was lucky enough that her price point, within 3 months, she would be in a profit position, but not everybody's in that position. So even on the corporate side, we would get tons of leads, but the leads that converted into customers that came from our paid lead strategies, it was like $4,000 to acquire that one customer based on paid ads. You know where our highest conversion numbers were? Always referrals. It was always referrals. So we did something as simple, I'm getting all excited about the corporate strategy, but we did something as simple as actually when we look at the numbers, and that's another thing entrepreneurs take one time a year or quarterly or twice a year, look at your numbers. So we look at our numbers, right? Because corporations want to save money. So we're looking at our numbers and we're like, hey, so, we need to increase our profit margins by 10% and the board of directors want more money. So, how come it's costing us $4,000 to get this customer over here, but it's, pennies over here? I'm like, well, because these are referrals and these are paid ads. Well, we need to get a referral program strategy going. Again, strategic organic leads on demand. So we did something as simple as adding at the bottom of our emails and our newsletters, hey, if you're not interested in this or somebody, it was an online MBA program. That's just to tell you if you don't know how competitive it is for online education programs, highly competitive, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, me and Phoenix and every university, Wharton, everyone is, Harvard, everyone's trying to get you to take their programs, right? So it was a highly competitive program I was marketing online. We did something as simple, after looking at the numbers, being strategic, right? We did something as simple as like, hey, if you're not interested in this, but you know someone else who might be interested in a master's degree program, feel free to forward this. I can't tell you how many people forwarded that to their corporate colleagues or their friends, because again, we were going after people who wanted to get their master's degree, so they're all like C-level people, and or they would send it to their boss. We would do corporate development where we would say, hey, we'll give your corporate employees like a discount on free stuff. So that's why I'm like, yeah, you can go and you don't need to spend tens of thousands of dollars on ads, because the leads are usually not that great leads anyway. And I'm telling you that from both a corporate perspective and an entrepreneurial perspective. You got to create demand. You got to make people want you. Let them come to you. Let them be begging you to give you their money. That's why it's called on demand. Like, they're demanding you. You're not pushing your message at them, begging them to do business with you. They see what you're putting out there, like, damn, I want to do business with them. That's what you want. There's another strategy in the Soul system I'll tell you really quickly on local marketing. That's the second thing that we focus on. So first we say get leads from videos, then get leads from local. Reviews on Google, just ask people to do reviews. Ask people to do reviews on Trustpilot. Because even if they go to your website or the social media, they're going to look up your reviews anyway, right? You can fiddle for years and spend $1,500 paying someone to do search engine optimization, or you can just ask people to write reviews for you, and that will get you higher on, the simple free stuff.
I'll just add another thing that I sort of waned off a little, but I'm going back into it hard. Get video testimonials.
Absolutely. That's all in the Soul system, guys. It's all in the course.
And folks, I had no contribution to the content of the Soul system.
No.
But video testimonials. Testimonials are
you
okay,
can leverage that
family.
in so many ways, right? You can share the audio. You can have an audio reel. It's just testimony after testimony after testimony. You can transcribe it and then use the text as like a banner, or put it on your blog. I mean, you can leverage, but that's why we start with video. So again, Soul system, SOLD, a strategic way to get a steady stream of organic leads on demand. You're not just willy-nilly.
Where can they find this? Where can they find it?
Okay, so it's not available for sale yet because we are looking for beta testers, but I believe if you go to this website, www.tinyurl.
Okay, hold on, because I want to do this. I want to do this in real time. So just bear with so it's Soul system. So it's okay,
www.tinyurl.com.
Yep.
/ and you can click on it. That way we can verify that you've typed it in right. Okay. Tiny URL. 1 second, my phone shut off again.
It's okay.
Come on, where are you? Okay, yeah. Tiny URL / sold system SOLDSYSTEM -beta BETA -sign up. So it's tinyurl.com / sold system -beta -sign up.
Okay, let's see if I listen to you right first. So did I do that right?
Yeah, everyone else is on the line too. Type that in and see if you see, and go ahead and fill out the beta application if you're interested.
Yes, so I typed it right. Beautiful.
Looks good.
Well, see, hey, you know what? One of the best courses I took in my life was grade 9 typing.
Okay.
I never thought that it was useful. And I even remember my teacher's name, Mr. Pengelly. Oh, was he a pain? But my goodness, I didn't know that grade 9 typing.
I don't think my kids, they type like this. Like, I type like you type. I type like the old-fashioned secretary way.
Yeah, like the touch. It was called the touch system.
Yeah.
I use the touch system. Okay, so family, I'm going to show you too. The link does work. And I'm going to show you what it looks like if you go onto that link.
Thank you. Let them see.
So we're going to put it up here.
Oh, I'm
right now.
excited. So guys,
There
let
we
me just
go.
show you what I'm explaining to you. So right there, those are
Yeah.
just the first 3 strategies that we talk about. Each of them can bring in $10,000. Beta testers.
So that's
what the program looks like. These are all the things that you get with the program when you become a beta tester. You get a free social media strategy, a free customized marketing campaign. We do an evaluation.
Family, I'm telling you, if you want
You
to
get a marketing
level
coach
up,
for 1 year. You get a free promotional video. Only for a few select beta participants, though. So yeah, fill that out.
And also too, you got to say heard from on the doc on Black through Dr. Vibe. Put a Dr. Vibe and she'll go, ah. But this,
absolutely. Well, you guys will be the first people to. You guys are going to be the first people. So
right tonight. Well, I'm filling out mine tonight. Sorry, family. I ain't playing because I want to level up what I'm doing. And I actually got us off after we finish that. There's a very interesting opportunity potentially coming my way that I want to share with Nakimbe to get her thought process on and her mentorship.
I would love to contribute and help. Absolutely.
Then it's a potentially very big initiative but I've been asked to be lead on. But you know what? And that's again, marketing's going to need to be involved. It's critical to its success. So
like I said, remember, everyone should just remember, I created this for my kids. It is simple. It is step-by-step. It is strategic. It is structured. There is nothing that I left out of it because it's really just for them so that they could say bye-bye to the man. So it's definitely going to help anybody out there.
Well, the next time you come on, we can also talk. And it's funny. You've heard of this term called quiet quitting?
No.
Oh, so it's one of the hot hashtags on TikTok. And basically what's happening here is many of millennials and whatever they call this generation now, they're basically putting the least amount of work in. So they're sort of like, they're calling it quiet quitting.
Wow.
So we can talk about this. Oh, go ahead.
Do we have a couple minutes? No.
Yeah.
Do we have Okay. I'm thinking this is like a 1 hour and then you get
No. See, so family, when Nakimbe and I chat, this is how we roll. Even if it's for 2 minutes, this is how we roll. So you're getting Nakimbe and Dr. Vibe WhatsApp live streamed.
Oh yeah, it is. The only difference is I'm not in the kitchen cooking lunch and eating. That's
walking around the house.
And moving around the house with the laptop. Yeah, that's really the only difference. So one of the things that I wanted. What's that, love?
You had a thought you wanted to share. You said we had a few more minutes. Yes.
So one of the things I was saying is like, I don't know if I should like release this secret or something, but I'm going to because we don't know what's going to happen with it, but it's very exciting. It's also really good incentive for everybody to get in now while they can because, people may know that Beyonce has this song now, Break My Soul. Have you heard of it, Dr. Vibe?
I don't listen to a lot of today's music because I'm creating my own content. So sorry. But so people like you got to educate me. But just in regards to that, I'll let you finish your thing because I'm going to add something of value in regards to content creation. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. But so, Beyonce has a song, You Won't Break My Soul. And it just talks about, getting your hustle on and quitting your 9 to 5. And so our team has approached them and it's like, hey, we have a whole program right now. It's called the Soul System, how to strategically because basically the message that we said that it's one thing to like empower people and have a song, You Won't Break My Soul, but now what? Right.
Action.
And
take action, make a decision and take action.
Yeah. So it's like now her birthday's coming up and stuff, and now she can like white label it. And instead of it being called the Soul System, SOLD, we're just going to rebrand it for her system. It'll be SOUL to go along with her song. And it's strategic and organic unlimited leads, SOUL. Right. So we might just white label it for her and then she can sell it. So, and it's going to be like a crazy price once they sell it. So part of the reason we're having the beta is not all of our modules are edited yet. They have tiny typos in them. So we're hoping people can catch those typos, minimize our editing costs And then we're going to launch at a higher price point later on. So it's a really good time to like get in. But we will be having a webinar, and I'll be inviting people to the webinar. You guys can find out what's required.
And I said to you, if you need a co-host or someone to host it, you got your person here.
Okay. Yes, for the webinar, right? Yeah, okay. We can do that.
It's a done deal. All right, so we're going to end off in a moment, fam, because, we could go on for hours with all this stuff. So I had mentioned this on another platform I do called The Morning Vibe, which is on Monday and Friday mornings at 9 a.m. with my co-host, Ryan O'Neill Knight, who Nakimbe may know. We were talking about Black Canadian media and what needs to happen for it to go to another level. Recently, and I'm going to promote this because I think it's a really good conversation. Many people who are watching this may not know this name, but I'm sure Nakimbe and I know it, and I know Nakimbe does. Tavis Smiley.
Oh.
So he's been through a lot in the last few years, but he was one of the gentlemen that inspired me, one of the main inspirations to what you're seeing today.
Beautiful, yeah.
And he, if I'm not mistaken, was the first African-American male to have a daily talk show on a major network. He had a daily talk show on PBS for a number of years. Now, the interview he does is on Vlad TV. You can look it up on YouTube, and it's cut up in segments, or you can watch a whole 2.5 hours. But crazy part, he had a 20-year close personal relationship with Prince.
Oh, wow.
And some of the stories he has to share, I'm just going to share 2 of them here. Now, everyone has their, I like Prince more than Michael Jackson. I like Michael Jackson more than Prince. So Prince told a story about him and Michael Jackson that is very interesting. Quincy Jones, who was Michael Jackson's producer for many years, invited Prince and Michael Jackson over to the house because one of Michael Jackson's he has many famous songs. One was called Bad. I'm bad. I'm bad. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. I got him, and I'm forgetting part of the story, so hopefully I'll remember when the time the real line comes up. So he invites Prince and Michael Jackson over to his house. Every 30 seconds, Prince is calling. Is Michael there yet? No. Michael Jackson's calling. Is Prince there yet? No. So they were out doing, because they didn't want to be the first one to show up.
Wow.
Right? So eventually, after this goes on for about half an hour, Quincy Jones says, Michael, just get in here. Right? So Michael Jackson comes in. 30 seconds later, Prince shows up. Right?
Oh, wow.
Gamemanship. So they're sitting there, and Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson are sitting on one side of the table. Prince is on the other side of the table. So Quincy Jones gives the lyrics of Bad to Prince. Now, if you don't know the song, there's a line in the song saying, "Your butt is mine."
Yeah, that's why Prince said he wasn't going to sing the song. Is that right?
Exactly. So Prince looks and says to Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones, who's saying this line? I say, what do you mean? What line you're talking about? He says, "Your butt is mine." And they sort of went quiet, and they looked at Prince. Well, you are. Prince got up and left. He left. So he didn't want, even in music, to anyone to say, no, don't do that to my name.
There you go. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And the second story, and it's very short, because now Tavis Smiley has bought an black all-talk radio station in LA. And he said one of the main influencers on that was Prince. Now, Nakimbe knows, you've all heard the term content is king.
Yes.
All right. Well, Prince told Tavis Smiley this: content is king, but distribution is the emperor.
Is queen. Oh, whoa. I heard distribution is queen. Okay.
Distribution is the emperor.
Absolutely. And that is brand, I think that's module number 9 in the soul system.
There we go.
Yeah. Syndication, virality. Because I'm telling people, yeah, you're going to do a video for yourself and just put it on YouTube. No, put it on Vimeo, put it on Daily Motion. Like, come on. Like, Don't just put a blog on your own thing. There are people looking for content. Distribute your stuff, grow your organic following that way. But again, they don't have the strategy. They don't have the structure. It's not step by step. It's not simplified until now with the soul system.
Well, look, let me put out I have had my broadcasts distributed weekly on a website called the Good Men Project.
Okay.
It is one of the most viewed sites in the world for men. They get 3 million unique visitors a month and 6 million page views a month. I've had that relationship for 11 years.
Yeah, guys, it's so true. Even with the online MBA program I was telling you about, like, we didn't just market our stuff. We had our listing on university review sites because that's where people would go.
There you go.
So people just don't know the strategies. They don't know.
You don't count on your own home base to get everyone to come into. So remember, content is king. Distribution is the emperor.
Thank you for that new one. I like that one better. Not that queens don't rule. Queens can still rule. I like the way that sounds.
Yes. So if you want to find more
rules, how about that? Queen Emperor rules.
Queen Emperor rules. Oh, another quick thing for family here. If you want to see Nakimbe's TED Talk, there's a YouTube address.
Thank you, love. So nice.
Done at my alma mater, University of Toronto Scarborough College.
Ooh, yes.
Anything else you want to add before the end here?
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. It's wonderful talking to you. I hope everybody enjoyed it and got a lot of value. Be sure to watch the TED Talk, following me on social media. Make sure if you have a business and you're struggling to get customers or you want a free strategic marketing plan, we're giving those to beta testers. So fill out that form and we will email you, I don't know, within a week or so when we're having our webinar, and you can attend and get all the information you need, get your questions answered. And we're looking to launch September the 26th. So we're going to be aggressive about this over the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Well, Nakimbe, I have to share that I have not known you for long, but it feels like I've known you for long.
Yeah, I know.
You know where I'm coming from. So and I love your energy. And people weren't there for it, but the first time her and I had a conversation, I guess the first time you were alive and what you shared, it really, really touched me.
Oh, yeah, you've gotten to know me quite well. Like, know a lot of my personal story.
And they stay with me. They don't go anywhere. They stay with me. So that's one of the main reasons that I want to see you win, because you have trusted and confided me to share some of your story. And everyone has a story, and even strong people struggle. And you showed that to me right from the get-go, because you didn't know who I was, but you just like laid it down and said, oh my.
It is what it is. But yeah, what will be fun to share with you at some point? So I had a kickoff. I had a Mappdom's first sort of staff meeting kickoff, and people in the company are getting shares and stuff. And I was sharing with everybody why I started the company and the soul system, and my daughter and son were they were in the meeting. So it was really, it's really nice to have a dream like actually come true. It's nice. Like, my children are actually now in the position where they don't have to work for anybody. They can sell their mom's program for the rest of their life and just every year update it, make modifications, but they're good. It's about changing your intergenerational wealth and I'm doing it.
And you're doing it, and it just reinforces something I strongly believe, that the greatest area of Black wealth is the Black family.
Yes.
So you are doing it. You're not thinking about it. You're doing it.
Yeah. Yay. All right. I hope to see a lot of people fill out that beta application.
Well, I have a meeting with some of the Black lady entrepreneurs this week, and I'm going to suggest it to them.
Okay. That's good. So you and I will catch up later in the week, I imagine.
Well, I'll be leaving a message tonight.
Okay.
And anything we can do to help, please do not hesitate to help you and your family and all your community move forward.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the offer. You are a blessing.
Right back. Thank you so much, and we'll chat soon. So thank you for everything. All right.
Good night. Bye.
Bye-bye. Family, what? That was amazing. Like, we could have went on for hours, but we'll just leave it at that. So you're watching Black Canada Talking on it's a lot. We're on every Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. Most of the time it's live. Sometimes we do replays, but just so worth it. Now, if you want to catch replays, or you want to get in touch with me, sorry, the Dr. Vibe Show, the drvibeshow.com, email dr@thedrvibeshow.com, YouTube and Facebook, the Dr. Vibe Show, Twitter, Dr. Vibe Show, and Instagram, the Dr. Vibe Show. So I'd like to thank everyone who caught this live on the replay today. It's appreciated and not taken for granted. We'll be back next Sunday for Black Canada Talking. Probably will be it's a good question. That's a good question. That's a good question. I have a feeling it's going to be a repeat because next week is, they say, the last long weekend of the summer. And I'm just filling some quick time here because I've got to find something on my computer. So just bear with me a second and I'll be with you right quick. And again, thank you for all your support. Yes, I'm filling in dead air time, being totally honest here. I just got to find something to play because I thought I put the right thing in and I didn't. So don't get mad at me today. Let me just do this real quick. And of course, I can't find it. All right, let's do this. All right, screen went out. And of course, my computer isn't behaving. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put this up. If it's the right one, great. If it isn't the right one, oh, there it came up here. Let me try again. I'm really terrible today. This is what happens when you do everything by yourself. These are some of the challenges. So let me try again. Okay, let's do this. And we're going to see. No, I'm not exactly sure. I'm feeling so hesitant. But you know what? If I make a mistake, actually, there we go. We'll see you next time. Be well. Well, actually, I got to wait for a minute now. It's got to upload. It's got to upload. It's got to upload. And then I got to play it. So just give me a second here. I know there's someone watching, so thanks for putting up with me during the end of this conversation. So just give me a second and we will get everything started here. All right, let's do it. I think we're good to be going in just a second. Sorry about this. Okay, let's do it. See ya.